Hi, welcome to Mind Your Business. I nearly greeted Happy New Year because it's been such a long time since I recorded an episode of Mind Your Business. I feel like it's the start of a new year for me. I took a short break after IFAB and I'm gradually easing myself back into work and into the flow, and I'm loving it. And today on Mind Your Business, I get to interview a really beautiful woman. When I say beautiful, not just physically, but just spending. I've had the opportunity to interact with her twice, and her presence is so beautiful, and what she does is so beautiful. How did I even get to know her? A friend of mine called Faith in Uganda introduced me to her. Faith was actually in Ghana for IFAB as well. He invited Roxanne to also come, and it's just a beautiful relationship that is started right here in Kumasi. And I'm so happy to introduce her to you, just in case you haven't met her already. If you're at IFAB, then of course you did meet her, hopefully. And hopefully she can help you as well, because what she does is really, really important. So now let's talk about what she does. So she's Roxanne Worden. Americans will say Worden. She's a motivational speaker and a mindfulness coach. Roxanne is actually also a board certified coach who challenges audiences to experience a more fulfilling life through the practice of mindfulness. After earning her bachelor's degree in Economics and Sociology, Roxanne gained hands-on experience working with thought leaders of the industrial organizational psychology industry. Just a few years later, as a program analyst at the U.S. National Cancer Institute, she liaised with over 250 stakeholders and policymakers globally for the advancement of cancer control planning. In 2021, Roxanne decided to make a full-time commitment to her coaching practice and set off for new ventures in, guess where? Ghana. As a half Ghanaian and half African American woman, Roxanne brings a unique perspective of overcoming prejudice and establishing a healthy sense of self. When not speaking or coaching, Roxanne can be found moonlighting as a singer and songwriter. Speaking of which, I have to remember to add a link to her Spotify, is it called channel link something. Well, sit tight and enjoy this interview with Roxanne Worden.
Fab Ashanti, a haven nestled at the tip of Kumasi, where fresh air meets serenity. Fab Ashanti is a residential learning and event space perfect for your corporate training, staff retreat, group hangouts, and wedding receptions. With 4 rooms and 15 beds, you and your group can sleep comfortably. What makes us special? Fab Ashanti is not just a space, it's a commitment. By choosing us, you support community projects empowering women and youth. Join us at Fab Ashanti off Aful Junction, Abuabukesi, Kumasi. Fab Ashanti, here we grow. Hi, I am Ahmed Duncan, founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. Before 2015, I was that broke girl who was stuck in her own limiting belief of not enoughness. Marianne Williamson's words, "You are a child of God," woke me up. And then I sought help to work on myself. I still invest heavily in my personal development, and so much has changed for me in the most incredible ways. My burning desire is to see an Africa in which women are empowered to thrive and impact people. I am a trainer, coach, author, social entrepreneur, and an event organizer who is passionate about helping others on their own personal development journey so that together we can all thrive as fabulous children of God. Mind Your Business is our weekly podcast which is free on YouTube. Here we share enriching content to help us all thrive as fabulous children of God. And if you prefer to work with me one-on-one, please go to my website, amaduncan.com/store to book a discovery call with me.
Coach Roxanne, thank you so much for making time to have a conversation with me on Mind Your Business today. There's so much about you that I am really interested in knowing, and I'm sure the audience, those listening, will also be interested in knowing. But before we get into all that, let's start with the you before you became a motivational speaker and a mindfulness coach. Tell me about that person.
Wow, that person. It's funny, that's a very loaded question because that person actually, I would say if you go years back into my 20s, that person was such a people pleaser. And that person was validation seeking. That person was very insecure and unsure if it's okay to spread out and be herself. And work wise, I have a background in strategic planning. So I've always done like operations management type of work. I've worked with HR consulting firms. And I've also, my most recent position was with the US federal government at the National Institutes of Health. So I've always had a background with somehow improving systems, improving how things work, making sure they work more efficiently. And so it was an easy transition into coaching for me because I always was concerned about process improvement and achieving goals. But what really flipped the switch for coaching was that I had my own personal problems and I had to work through those, in spite of feeling like, oh, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing all the things that check off the boxes that you're supposed to do professionally and all this kind of stuff. I'm still having problems in my personal life. And how do I manage those? And that caused me to look more inwardly and figure out what's going on with me inside as opposed to what I'm projecting outside.
I see. So thank you. Thank you. So definitely there was a shift in your personal life that led to you eventually becoming a coach and all that. And I'm curious to know, did you have to work with a coach as well for whatever issues you were going through?
Oh, yeah, a coach and a therapist. And yes. So just to put it out there, I actually went through a divorce. And when I was going through that divorce, it actually caused me to really look back and say to myself, you know what made me get in that type of relationship? It was a very unhealthy relationship for me. It was a bit abusive. And a lot of times, people are like, great job, you got out of that. And, oh, I'm so proud of you for being brave. But I had to say now, okay, but what made me choose that partner? What made me feel like that relationship was okay for me and that I essentially wanted to hold on to it, if it hadn't come to the point that it did. And so that is what made me go to therapy. I had to see a therapist on my way out of the marriage because I have a Christian background. So of course I had concerns, and my prayer to God was, okay, God, I'm staying in this for as long as you have me here. Until you tell me it's okay to go, I'll be here. And I got several signals from God, like, it's okay. And really, it was just, it was so unhealthy that it wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have made it out well. I don't think I would have made it out okay if I stayed. So God gave me several signals. And with that, I started going to therapy just to strengthen myself before I even left. And then after that, I also followed up with another therapist and then coaches as well as I started to, start thinking about the coaching profession. I also sat with other coaches who coached me through, hey, this is how you set your business up and this is how you do this and do that. Mm-hmm. So I said all of the above is what I used for making it into coaching. Yeah.
Wow. That's really inspiring. So through your own healing, you are also helping others. And are these typically women or men and women, even children? Who are the kind of clients you work with?
Sure. I work with men and women, adults. I don't really work with children. And it started out with mostly women just because of my circle, right? So it starts kind of in my circle and loops out that way. But then as I started to advertise my services, men were willing to try it, especially guys that knew me. And I'm like, I have a brother as well. And I'm always like talking to him and he's like, okay, my sister said this. And so, I think he gave me some credibility too, as a male, right? And so, it started to branch out to men as well. But yeah,
Wow.
my passion is for women just because I am a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bless you. I know this somebody is probably watching and rolling their eyes at, oh, women again. Like if my son had been around, that's typically what he would do. So you're Ghanaian, you're half Ghanaian and then half African American or American African. I always confuse the
Yeah,
two.
African American, yeah, is what it is now.
But at a certain point, you decided to move to Ghana and not just to Ghana, but in Kumasi. Like I am curious to know, and you're a coach based in Kumasi. I mean, a few minutes drive from my house, really. What inspired you to say, I am going to leave the fast internet of the US, I am going to leave the good road. Okay, I'm not just being mean to Ghana, but we all know. And then I'm going to go past Accra with all its beaches and all that, and then come to us, Cyclone, beautiful Kumasi. What made like it's so inspiring. I'm curious.
Well, when you put it that way, now I'm having second thoughts. I don't.
We need you here.
No, it's so funny. So I am half Ghanaian, right? So my father is Ghanaian. My parents have always planned to retire here in Ghana. And so I came to help them move. And I liked being in Ghana. Honestly, I felt healthier. The food, it was easy to get healthier food, right? Like good, healthy food that you can eat. I feel like I'm always on a restricted diet when I'm in the US, just trying to find like real stuff. And then the other thing was like I got things like sun and like I did a major review of my health, like probably a few months before I decided to come to Ghana, because I decided to come to Ghana on a whim, really. And I had just done this kind of major workup just out of, my regular checkup, but I had done like a nutrition thing review and hormones, all these things. And everything they said I needed, right? Like they were like, oh, you definitely need more sun. You need more this in your diet. I got in Ghana just naturally. And it was like, wait a minute. I'm trying so hard in the US to get all these things. I'm like trying to add to my schedule. Make sure you go outside. Make sure you do this and Ghana, it's just here. It's just, you just show up. Yes. And so that I felt healthier in the first 2 months. My original plan was to stay for 6 months, take like an extended break from work. And then I would go back and continue on with my life. But after the first 2 months, I felt so healthy. And I was just like, okay, it's nice to be somewhere and making money, but if you don't have good health, like how much can you enjoy it? Right. So I thought, okay, health is first. And I'm very particular about setting priorities in life. So that whenever I'm making decisions, it's like, oh, right, health trumps money because you can't enjoy them. Like I always have that kind of hierarchy set up in my mind. So it's like health first. And then when I decided to stay here, I said, now where do I want to go? And this is where you're like, how did you make it to Kumasi, right? So I I went to Accra. I'm telling you, I spent like a week in Accra. My family's from Cape Coast, so I was in Cape Coast already, and I was too relaxed. I honestly started to act like I was a retired person myself. And I'm like, this is not going to be okay. Like I'm not retired. Like they're retired, I am not. So I knew I had to move out of Cape. And then I went to Accra, and it was just too much. The traffic
I
was
know.
And I'm just like every day I felt like we can do one thing. Like pick your one thing you want to do. That's gonna be it. If you want to eat and then like go to this one museum, that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Just because of the traffic. And then I got to Kumasi. I had a friend that I had met, artist, and he's like, you should come out to Kumasi. I think you'll like it. There's a lot of, I don't know, like art here, like music, all this kind of stuff, right? And so I was like, all right. So I came out for just a few days, and on the ride up, all the trees, I appreciated the greenery. And yeah, when I started to go out, like Kumasi, it was so easy for me to get around to like 3 museums in one day. And, I was able to go out, eat here, and it just felt easier. I don't know if that makes sense. And it felt like Kumasi had a city plan, like there's actually a downtown to Kumasi where you can go downtown in a way and get everything done and then come back home. But in Accra, I just felt like downtown was all over the place. Like
all the way, different directions.
I'm like, no, downtown. I'm like, I need a downtown. So that's what made me stay in Kumasi. And it's been great. Like I've been able to make friends. And one of the things I want to do while I'm in Ghana is just anything that I was setting aside while I was working myself away in the US, I wanted to do here. So, I made sure I got back into singing. So I'm able to sing at a local restaurant. I'm able to go see artists when I feel like. So I go back into a crowd and see different art shows and things like that. But it's like, to me, Kumasi is a nice place to just be based and feel like you're not always in the hustle and bustle of everything.
You know what? I totally get you. So before I moved to Kumasi, I moved here 16 years ago because of marriage. But before then, I had only been here maybe 3 times or two, and I never thought I could leave Accra. And, I thought I could, I never thought that another place could be home to me. Now, when I go to Accra, I feel like someone is chasing me out of the city to just hurry back. I'm like, I need to go back. I don't know what Kumasi has done to me. One of my biggest fears was that my husband would come home one day and say, "Oh, I've been, how do they call it, transferred to another city." I used to pray against it because I was like, God, I can't leave Kumasi.
Oh my God.
I love that it's quite chill. The traffic is less, you can get things done, the trees and all. So I totally get you. And by this, I hope people listening are thinking, maybe, maybe Kumasi is the place to go. Yeah.
Yes.
But how has it been really, you working from Kumasi, because you still have clients all over the world. You have clients, I'm sure, in Ghana and then in different parts. How has it been for you?
Yeah, so it's been I don't know, it's been interesting. So my clients in US, so I still brought some clients with me from US, right, that I see online. And then I've had some people that I've met and had clients in like Belgium and some other places, right? And so that's been nice to sustain, just to have that momentum sustained while I moved. And of course, a big deal was setting up the internet and getting into a place where it has good internet. So when I was looking for a place to stay, I literally had the thing that tells you how the internet speed of the room, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the app is called like Fast or something. And so I'm literally looking at rooms. I'm like, this is nice, but give me a minute to check your internet speed.
Oh my gosh.
Because I need to work. So that was the beginning. But now that I've really gotten settled in, I've been focused on doing things in Ghana, right? And so in Ghana, it's interesting because coaching is not necessarily a big thing, especially here in Kumasi. So I've had to transition more into the speaking and workshop kind of environment, which is actually good for me because I've always wanted to transition to that. So this has just pushed me there. And so it's been good actually getting in contact with different people, because once I talk to people, so if I tell people my title, they're like, oh, okay, like Okay, like sure, whatever that is. But but I feel like once I show up and either I'm able to have like a session with them, do a presentation or talk at an event, then the people line up like, oh, I need this. Wait a minute, tell me more. It's like show and tell, like you have to like really show what's going on. Like what do you really do? How can you help me? And then people come and they're like, yeah, I need that. So it's been a great learning curve for me too, because a great question I had when I was talking to some students was, how has your practice changed in dealing with people here in Ghana, dealing with the culture differences, right? And I thought it was a great question, um, because what happens, one of the things about the US versus Ghana is I find that for the US, we're very individualistic. So we are focused on our personal identity, like I'm this, I'm that, and we're very passionate about like the freedom to do that, right? Outside of our family and everything. Where in Ghana, there's still a very a huge responsibility to the culture and the overall community, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't just do that kind of like flippant coaching where you're like, forget what they say and go do that. You can't do that. You have to really respect their
Exactly.
role within their family and then within their community and see how they can still transition and be more powerful, even considering that role.
Absolutely. I like that. And yeah, so it makes you, the word that's coming to me, I don't know why, but it makes you more learned, like more understanding, more you have a broader perspective, of things. And I think that's beautiful. And so as a coach, you help your clients to achieve sustainable success. What does this mean really for the
Yes.
layman?
Yes, I call it sustainable success, just like we're doing like sustainable living, right? Like how can we make things last longer? And so I feel like there was this mindset of just you have to hustle, you have to do whatever you can do to make it. And then people get whatever they're trying to get, money, whatever it is, and you realize there's this inside of you that's depleted, that's malnourished, and the money doesn't help with that, right? So it's like you are unable to sustain the success that you've achieved because you haven't got the self mastery to match it, right? So if I give you, it's like the lottery winners. A lot of them, they get all this money. I can't wait till I win the lottery. I get all this money. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of these people are poor, right, who are playing the lottery. They get the money, and what do they do? The same old habits.
Right.
You just blow a bigger amount of money in a year than you would if you didn't win the lottery, and you're now depressed because you didn't have the self-mastery to take on the success that you wanted, right? And so it's the same with us. If we don't learn how to take care of ourselves, my focus is mindfulness with my coaching. And so it's like, if you're not aware of yourself, how you work, what drains you, what gives you energy, what are you really passionate about? How many things are you doing that you really hate and dread? and how is that wearing on your system? Right. So if you're not aware of all of that, you'll be working and working, and it'll appear as though you have success. Meanwhile, you'll be sitting at home just really just drained out and not really sure how much longer you can make it. So my thing about sustainable success is just like an awareness of yourself along with the goals you're trying to achieve.
I love that self-awareness. I think that it can change everything. A lot of the problems we think we have and all, if we could just, what's the word? I'm losing my vocabulary. Like keep, like the onion, you keep
Oh yes,
you
I'm
get
feeling
the
that.
core of it and you realize that it has nothing to do with what you originally thought, Yes, yes. So I love what you do, helping people become more self-aware and then to have a more meaningful and sustainable success. I like that. Now you have a training that would be a workshop. And I thought when I saw the title, I thought that's so interesting. So I want you to tell us about choose your stress wisely. I'm like, what? Choose your stress. It's just so like really what led to the choice of this name and what is it about?
Yeah, so choose your stress wisely. I do a short talk as short as 10 minutes, and then I do a workshop on it as well. That can be a couple of hours, but it's just a realization that we do have the power to choose what we stress about, right?
Mm,
And so in this training, I take people through, what's happening with your body when you are stressed, what's going on with the mind. And there is this point where we see and we observe things with our senses. Like we see, there are things that we see and we hear and we feel. And then our brain decides, wait, is this something that's harmful to us?
mm,
And if we decide that it's harmful, then we get stressed, right? And so choose your stress wisely is just bringing people's attention or awareness to the fact that there is that point where you can decide,
mm.
oh, I'm going to let this be thought of as harmful, or I'm not going to let this be thought of as harmful. Because if we also realize the stress that we put on our bodies when we're stressing out,
Yeah.
it leads to so many health issues. And it goes back again, it's like almost part one of sustainable success, right? It goes back to that. How long can we sustain the level that we're at if we keep letting everything stress us out? So the example I give is when I first moved to Ghana, and I would ride around. This was in a crowd, like, just getting off the plane and everything. And I would smell smoke just riding around. I would smell smoke. And I would think, so no one else is concerned about the smoke that we're smelling. Like I'm smelling something burning and no one seems to care. And and because in the US, if you smell smoke, it's perfectly normal for everyone to stop and say, okay, what is that? Do you smell that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the US, our houses are made of wood. Your whole house could burn down if you
Yeah.
smell smoke.
Yeah.
So there's a cause for alert. But in Ghana, I realized over time that people just burn things. And so, okay, so this is just a normal thing. People burn things here. All right. I just have to. And so, of course, I had to make a decision now. I can't get stressed out and alert like every time I smell smoke.
Yeah.
Now I have to realize there's a new meaning attached to the smell of
Mm,
smoke. It means someone somewhere is burning something, they'll handle it, it'll be taken care of, we're good.
mm,
And so we actually have that power to do that with anything,
yeah.
to decide, hey, because most of the time, for most of us, we're not in real danger where it's life or death. A lot of times we're torturing ourselves with what we think may happen in the future, or, a repeat of what happened in the past.
Yeah.
And so if we can stay in the moment and choose, like just become aware of that ability to choose,
Mm,
you know what? No, nothing's happening to me right now.
mm,
I'm not
okay.
really, I'm not in danger.
Yeah.
Calm down. you know, and you can get back and focus on what you're doing. So that's the thing that I've been focused on lately, is that choosing your stress wisely. Yeah.
That's really, I love it. And I think that mindfulness is such a powerful thing, just being in the present moment. In this moment, am I okay? Is there, and you realize that actually 99% of the time in this moment, you're fine. And yet you're stressing about what happened 100 years ago or what can potentially happen 2 million years to come. Like, oh my goodness.
Millions of years ahead. And this is the thing, Alma, right? Because when we do that, we don't realize when you're stressed, you actually you have less oxygen going to the brain when you're stressed, because your body is pushing all your resources to your arms and legs, thinking you're about to
Ready
fight,
to
or you're about
fight or
yeah,
flight.
you're about to flee,
Mm,
and so you're actually hindering your ability to solve whatever problems in front of you,
mm.
because your scope has narrowed down to here, like, oh, this problem. That's the reason why sometimes you're working on something and you can't get it. You go take a break and do something completely unrelated and you come back and it's better because
Yeah.
you've had a chance to like relax, bring
Mhm.
some oxygen back to your brain, and now you can function fully. So
Oh my
yeah, it's
goodness. It's amazing how simple it is, and yet it eludes a lot of us. I
yeah.
know it's so simple. Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. So yes, basically we need coaches like you. Everybody needs a mindfulness coach like Coach Roxanne, just to help us to just breathe and be in the moment and realize that actually you have options and you're fine. And oh my goodness, bless you for this path because this is really important work that you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So
you.
you have currently, do you have the program, the workshop running, or is it about to happen anytime soon this year?
Yeah, so it's funny. I've just done a talk. I did Women Tech Makers just a couple of weeks ago, and that was a short talk. And then I'm working on some things. I want to wait for it to solidify, but I may be coming to a university near you, and
Oh, right.
yeah, and doing some work there as well. So, but I just want to wait until that
Mm.
they're ready to launch that, and there'll be advertisements for it.
Oh,
But my recent thing right now is my program. I'm doing a event on April 21st, and well, it's called Social Therapy,
mm.
and I'm actually just bringing together different business owners. I had this thought of, man, I have these cool friends that I made in Kumasi. Everyone keeps going, why are you in Kumasi? But I'm like, but I made really cool friends.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's like I'm like, and what I find often is that I'm often trying to tell their story to other people, right? Because people, I'm sure you have this conversation all the time, the what's bad about Ghana conversation, and this is why it's hard and all that, right? And so I find myself always saying, no, but I have a friend and they did this and their business is really doing well. And so I'm like, look, I'm just going to bring all these friends together and we're all going to talk. And I want them to share, what was it that helped them keep going when it was hard? Because people think, oh, they must have had money. And it's like, no, I have a friend who was completely broke and all they had was their talent. So how do you keep that mindset of I'm going to do this no matter what, I'm going to push forward. And so I want them to share those things. So that's what that event is about. And actually social therapy, I think it's a technical term, which I really like, but we're not doing a technical thing. It's a fun conversation. And I want the audience to come and talk and be very engaged. But social therapy, the idea is people having a view of their individual part in the overall system,
Mm.
right? And so, I hope people come to the event and they're able to see themselves in someone else's story and say, you know what, I could do this.
Yeah.
Or say, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Let
Mm.
me try that too, because we often repeat what we see. And
Yeah.
so if you can just see something a little bit different, maybe you can also try something different.
And I like the location you're having it at the View Restaurant.
Yeah, the View Bar and Grill. So, on Malcolm Road. So it's great. So it'll be at a restaurant at the View Bar and Grill, and so it'll be very relaxed. It's on a Sunday, so Sunday, April 21st, from 2 to 5. So you come after church, you have a meal there because there will be a menu available too, and just talk. Like let's have a conversation. Let's ask some questions. I welcome the questions from the audience definitely to our panelists, and that would be great. So we have an artist there, a local artist that actually was reposted by Jada Pinkett Smith. We have and now,
Oh, on Instagram? Shall I search for? No, I'll do that later. Oh, that's big. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, and we have the leader of musicologist band, one of the local bands that they do the Ike's music, they do Casa, Luma, all these different
Oh,
places.
yeah, these restaurants. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. And he's also a medical doctor. We have Pretty Iris. Her business is like booming. She has a place here. She's based in Kumasi, but she also has a location in Accra.
Mm.
And so, just different. And these are local people.
Mm.
So this is not even like,
Yeah.
all expats are going to come tell you.
I really love that. It's
Mhm.
nice to showcase what we have right here, because we all think that, oh, you have to go somewhere, but right here things are happening. Amazing
Yes.
people are here. So I really like what you're doing, and I think it's going to be fabulous. And of course, I'll share more information about that with this interview. And
Mhm.
also, actually, I have a few more questions to ask. You've been amazing already. You've expanded my mind. You've brought very beautiful memories, and you've also helped me remember why coaching is important. Like it's really it's a ministry. It's not just work. It's really helping people, and it's amazing. So bless you. I have a
Thank you.
few questions that I'm going to ask. I'm going to begin the sentence, and you finish it with a short phrase or sentence. Okay. So the first one is, if I could advise my younger self in one short sentence, I would say,
If I could advise myself in one short sentence, I would say, and this is actually from a meditation I did, but just hold on, it's beautiful here.
hmm, I like that. And then when we are done speaking, we have to speak more on meditation, because that is like my new obsession. Okay, let's go. The second one is, I am fabulous because.
Hmm. I am fabulous because I try things, I fall, and I get back up.
You get back up. That's beautiful. And then finally, one book that has greatly helped me in life or business is.
I would say that's a hard one, but I would say even beyond the books I'm reading now, probably Boundaries. It's a book called Boundaries.
by
God,
by these two guys.
the two guys. Yeah, I'm blanking on the author. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
you, I can see you also have this.
Yes, we reviewed it a couple of years ago. I loved it. There's in the beginning, he shares the story about this woman. I forgot the details, but I spent so much time reviewing that book. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Yes, it's so good. And for me, like that was a changing point from that people pleaser,
Mm.
validation seeking person into like, whoa, you mean I'm not supposed to carry someone else's boulder? Like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
It didn't even occur to me that I'm not supposed to do all these things for everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that probably was the most pivotal book in
Yeah.
my life, honestly.
Yeah. And I like the way they use Christian principles to explain. So you're not feeling like, oh, is that a Christian thing to do? It's really a good book. So yeah, that well done for reading
Yeah.
that. And I mean, it's highly recommended as well. I have to find the full. Yeah, I know it's Boundary, but it has some. I forgot. It's been a while since we reviewed it, but it's a really great book. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And finally, how do we find you?
Sure. You can find me at cloudwalkcoaching.com. And even the event that I spoke about, there's a tag there for events. So you can just go under that tab and you'll see more about the social therapy event that we're having. You can also go there and email me. You can send me a message on there. You can also sign up for more events as well once you go to the events page. So cloudwalkcoaching.com. Find me there.
And then, this is Ghana. We are very big on social media. Which one is your most active? Which of these? Instagram, Facebook?
So I'm old school. I'm kind of classic. I'm with the Instagram because I like pictures over the videos. So I'm on Instagram at everybody's_human.
Everybody's human. I like that. But wait, how did you come up with that name?
I I got that name because I've traveled a couple places. So even when I was working for the government, I would travel a couple places for them as well. And one of the things I found, so even being in a place where I couldn't even speak the language at all, and I'm just going to be there for a week, so it was like really no time to learn. You learn that small things matter to everyone. So even in a place where they don't smile that much, a smile still says, I'm, a friendly person. I'm not here to harm you. You know what I mean? Or I respect you as a person. Or a simple nod can say, I respect you as a person. And just acknowledging people. And then living in Ghana for the past few years, because I just changed my handle, like maybe since I've been in Ghana, and being immersed in a whole, it's another culture for me because I grew up in US, right? But being immersed in another culture, it's like, people are preparing you or trying to explain to you cultural differences. And after a while, you realize, oh, this is the thing. Oh, this is like the people that live in
Exactly.
DC or live, the people I knew that lived across the street. Oh, they're like them when I was growing up, like it's just a different, I don't know how you explain it, but it's like same person, different outfit. I don't know. Like it's the same thing. So I just learned that everybody's human. Like we all want the same things. We're all seeking the same things. And we all have some of the same pitfalls, right? If we're given, we can fall into greed, we can fall into, jealousy. And just the same, we all want love. We all want to be acknowledged. So everybody's human.
It's so true. And if we can recognize that, we'll be more respectful of each other and compassionate and loving. Oh,
Yeah.
anyway, thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Roxanne. I wish you the very, very best at your event. It breaks my heart that that very day is the day I'll be returning, but I'm sure it will be amazing. I'm sure
We're
it'll be
gonna
amazing, and then the next one, hopefully, I'll get to be part of it.
I know I was so ready to brag about IFAB like with you there. I'm like, you guys, I went to this event. It was so good.
Right time will come. It will definitely come. So thank you so much, and I wish you a beautiful, beautiful rest of the weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Fab Hab Ashanti, a haven nestled at the tip of Kumasi, where fresh air meets serenity. Fab Hab Ashanti is a residential learning and event space perfect for your corporate training, staff retreat, group hangouts, and wedding receptions. With 4 rooms and 15 beds, you and your group can sleep comfortably. What makes us special? Fab Hub Ashanti is not just a space, it's a commitment. By choosing us, you support community projects empowering women and youth. Join us at Fab Hub Ashanti off Aful Junction, Abuabukesi, Kumasi. Fab Hub Ashanti, here we grow.
Did you love the interview or what? And she's right here in Kumasi. Like there are all these amazing people in Kumasi. And it's so nice that we all get to connect and know each other and see that, listen, it's not everything that we have to run to Accra to do, because the resources we need, they are over here in abundance. I am so happy. If this is the first time you're meeting Roxanne, I'm so happy for you. Please connect with her. I've shared the links to how to reach out to her, to take her program. If you're an organization as well, and you'd love to invite her to come and do her training, choose your stress wisely. I highly recommend that we all take this program. Anything that helps us to be more mindful and helps us to be in the moment, so we stop worrying and fearing and doubting. Do what we gotta do as children of God. So I'm really happy for you, as I am for myself, to have more exciting friends and acquaintances like that. And I'm going to sign off. I know I'm but it's fine. Hopefully, I will come your way again next week, God willing, with another episode of Mind Business. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you share this video, and I hope you reach out. And for members of our community, please, if you haven't signed up already, the link is here to sign up. Look out for our next meeting. and the book The Quarter. All right, so I see you again the next time. It's Toodles. Bye.
Mind Your Business is one of our free resources available on YouTube. And if you prefer to work with me one-on-one as your coach, as a consultant, or as a trainer, it starts with a discovery call. Head to amaduncan.com/store to book a discovery call with me.